Hello ladies and gentlemen, and everyone beyond. I am BabyNoobCakes, and this is Twitch Prime Free Game Reviews. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of the July 2020 free games, Kunai. This game comes from Turtle Blaze, a 3-man independent game studio from The Hague in the Netherlands. But now, let's attempt to answer the question, as one of the free games of the month, was it worth it? Mechanics. Kunai is a Metroidvania-style action platformer with very fast combat. One of the more unique factors of this game is its namesake, the Kunai knives. You find these tools very early on in the story, and they are pretty integral to the platforming of the game. As you can see here, they also seek for places to attach pretty consistently, so you don't need to aim with pixel-perfect precision, but you still need to be pretty good. Timing is what will really matter with them, because that will determine how far and how fast you swing with them. And I will mention here as well that the game does feel really good and smooth as far as controls go, and there are a good number of save points throughout. The gameplay loop is run forward, kill baddies with your sword, shurikens, and other weapons, make it to the boss, grab some new goodies, buy some cool upgrades to make you better at killing, and repeat. Art style. As you can pretty plainly see by this point, the game has a nearly monochromatic pixel art style. But monochromatic and minimalistic can really work when done right, and it is done very well here. Each of the levels feel unique and have their own defining characteristics. All of the characters you interact with are computers or other pieces of tech. The character that you play is called Tabby and is a tablet that uses a katana to cut up other robots. What more could you really want? Sound. This game has a kick-ass soundtrack. Full of bit-crushed, Japanese-style tunes that are reminiscent of the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis era games. The sound effects are all super punchy and add a lot of impact to the attack of your weapons. And all of the sounds lend themselves to a very cohesive experience, with very little, if anything, out of place to the overall theme of Kunai's setting. Replayability. A full playthrough of Kunai will last you about 7.5 to 8 hours, and there are a lot of hidden secrets, as is a pretty common inclusion in most Metroidvania-style games. There are health-increasing power-ups and shortcuts to find all over the map, and throughout your playthrough, you can upgrade the various weapons and abilities which need to be purchased at the various upgrade stations with coins you earn from killing enemies and opening boxes. Narrative. The story goes that you are the Chosen One, or maybe the Chosen Bot? A resistance force unearths the chamber you've been lying dormant in and activates you in order to fight against the robots who have been oppressing all of the others. And you immediately take to the task of smashing faces. Or screens? Yeah, screens. Beyond this though, the plotline does not progress very far in terms of storytelling. you go on to meet the comically evil and sometimes simply comical bosses of the world. You find hidden bunkers with special items prophesized to only be usable by the Chosen One. And luckily, you are, or else your journey might be much more difficult, or maybe much shorter. My opinion. I had loads of fun playing this game, and it has a very lighthearted theme, and some legitimately funny dialogue, and some pretty challenging combat and platforming puzzles. The combat was weighty and super fast, but there was only one place in the game where it got to the point where I couldn't overcome the challenges without just a little bit of trial and error. Which starts me into my few complaints about the game. First is that whenever you strike an enemy, you sort of bounce back off of them, which sometimes can be a good thing, especially when attacking from the air. You get a really satisfying bounce off of them and can combo into multiple other enemies, or if they take multiple hits to kill, you can just avoid most of their damage since they can't attack upwards, and just keep bouncing on them until they're dead. However, when fighting an enemy on the edge of a platform, you end up doing this a lot. And even when fighting an enemy on a flat surface, you can usually only get in one hit at a time before you have to approach them again. The second thing that bugged me was that sometimes the collision detection just didn't work. I experienced this with both the kunai knives that you use to swing around and my weapons. With the weapons, it was mainly against enemies that can already block your attacks, which I thought would explain why this happened, at least a little bit. But you are able to catch those enemies off guard with ranged attacks. And that's mainly when I had this problem with things just not working for me. I will also admit that these collision issues really didn't come up that often. It wasn't game-breaking, it just happened enough times for me to really notice. And the third complaint is that the game seems to drag on a bit too long without really doing a whole lot differently. And the backtracking due to the Metroidvania map style starts to really wear down your patience, since accidentally going to the wrong place and having to go all the way back is taxing. And whenever you beat a boss, you have to walk all the way back to the start of that section of the game, which just feels really unnecessary. My last complaint, though, is this boss fight. And I'm warning you now, if you don't want a boss fight from towards the end of the game spoiled for you, skip to this timestamp. Alright, good? This is what stopped me from finishing this game. I couldn't outrun this thing, and it instantly kills you if you get hit even once. And there's about 5 to 10 minutes of boss fight prior to this stage. And after about an hour of trying to grind through it, to lose in just about the exact same spot every single time, I was over it. I don't recall anything else one-shotting you up to this point, and the stage won't even scroll up when you're at the top, which just really felt like an unfair mechanic, and I just couldn't do it. This boss fight sucks, I hate it, and it's the reason I didn't finish this game. Was it worth it? Kunai was actually released this year, back in February of 2020, so it is a relatively new game, which is awesome, in case you were still waiting to pick this one up. And coming in at around $17 at full price, it's not a bad choice, as it gives us some value for our Amazon Prime/Twitch Prime subscription fee. As far as the system requirements go, they are super low, and this can be played on almost any PC with a video card, unless it's like over 10 years old or something like that. And for lovers of 2D platforming and action-adventure games like Mega Man, Metroid, the older Castlevanias, or even more modern games like Dust and Elysian Tale or Hollow Knight, you'll probably get a lot out of this game. And while it may not have as much variety or challenge as some of these others, it's still a strong contender in the genre, and the game sets out to achieve a specific goal and accomplishes it. My final verdict on Kunai is that it is worth it to pick this one up for a quick playthrough, and it is a worthy addition to our collection of games in the Twitch Prime free library. But maybe that's for you to decide. Whether you agree or disagree with my judgment, get at me in the comments. Let me know what you think, and let's discuss if this month's games were worth it or not. Also, don't forget to go to the Twitch app and download your free games every month, because hey, they're free, and sometimes you'll end up with a few gems. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, because I take a look at the Twitch Prime free games every month. But for now, I'll catch you later.